Hi Pisces natives, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, here to tell you about the new moon on July 20th, 2020. And let's just jump right in. So this new moon is in your 5th house. That's creativity, fertility, love, romance, fun, taking risks, and also about taking a leadership role. And so this new moon says that it's time for you to start something in this area, to really focus on how you can add to your life by things that you truly enjoy. It also is really good for attracting love, so we'll talk about that in a moment. It is good for taking risks, and we'll talk about that in a second. Well, first of all, we have to deal with the big boulder in the room, and that is Saturn. Saturn is directly opposite this new moon. It's the exact degree, and this represents an obstacle in your life to doing all of the things we just talked about having fun, about taking risks, about adding to your life through creativity, all of these things. So Saturn here is representing something or someone who is set themselves up as an authority in your life and who is saying, no, you cannot move forward, or they're saying, this is scary. It's kind of like a parent when you're a little kid at the jungle gym who is saying, oh, be careful. Oh, you're going to hurt yourself. Oh, don't climb up there. Oh, that's too high. It's this constant maybe recording in your head telling you that you need to be worried about something. And this is a pity because you're only going to have this new moon in this house once this year. And so it's such a great new moon placement to have this new energy in the house of fun and risk-taking and romance and all of that. And then to have someone who maybe you've set up as an authority, maybe it's a friend who you always listen to them, even though perhaps they're not having that much fun in their own life, and you're letting them tell you that you should be worried, or that there's things to panic about. Or, of course, you can be both sides of this opposition. You yourself could be saying to yourself, oh, I shouldn't do this. It's not good. I don't have the ability to do this. I don't have the ability to be a leader. I don't have creative ability. It is you doubting yourself. And so either way, what needs to happen is you have to transform the Saturn into your ally. And that is, if you do find somebody who is saying to you, oh, you should not take risks right now, then you say, why? Why are you saying that? What is it about me that you don't believe can handle this? And they might cite external things. They might say, like, wow, well, look at the economy right now. But of course, if you go back in history, many great fortunes and much success was made during bad times. That's when we get the most resourceful, the most creative, where we really, if we believe in ourselves, can do amazing things. And the same goes for love. If the person who you've set up as an authority says to you, oh, this love relationship is not good for you, then it's really worthwhile this time to ask them and say, why are you saying this? If they have some real legitimate reasons, well, this is good energy for finding someone new. But if they're just saying, well, I don't want you to be in a relationship when I'm not in a relationship, that's not a good reason. And so you could move forward. And so taking a look at what the opposition is, what is holding you back. Now, of course, when it is time to take action, we look at Mars, and Mars is in Aries in your 2nd house of money. And that's really good placement. That's number 1. But the bad news is that this Mars is not syncing up with these 3 planets. Well, 2 are luminaries, 1's a planet. I don't want to get comments about that. So the Mars is at 12, the Sun and Moon are at 28, the Saturn's at 28. They're not making an aspect. And so what we have is that you maybe resolve to take some action, but then the action you take is not in line with your goals. And so that would be like a person who says, okay, you know what? I'm going to get into a relationship. I'm going to post my profile online and I'm going to interact with people. So the first thing I'm going to do is go buy a new computer. It's maybe you need the new computer, but maybe it's just shopping. And so a Mars in the second house in Aries can do a lot of impulse buying. So you do need to be a little careful of that. And Mars in the second house can also make a lot of money. So that could be great. But even so, if your goal is relationships and then all you're doing is working, that's not necessarily helping you. So this Mars is going to sync up at some point, but right now it's not. So you have to be extremely mindful of the action you're taking and ask yourself, is this in line with my goals? Now, when it comes to relationships, we have really good energy for love and romance, but when we are trying to solidify the relationship and we look at your 1-7 axis, we don't have things syncing up because the Mercury is not making an aspect to Neptune or even the co-ruler, your co-ruler, Jupiter. And so what we have here is that there can be some miscommunications or your schedules don't line up. It's not a good idea to try to move the relationship forward, like maybe you were thinking about living together or getting engaged. It's not quite time yet to introduce these concepts. It will be soon as, Mercury lines up with these, but right now it's not. Now, that said, as I said before, you have a great 5th house. And so if you want to go out and meet some new people or connect that way, or if with your existing love relationship, if you want to have a little romance, you can definitely do that. Now, I'm going to have to repeat myself now when we get to home, family, and your dwelling, because we have very similar energy. We have the Venus down in the 4th house, which says that things are nice, they're pleasant. When people come together, they're happy, but the ruler of the 4th is not syncing up with the Neptune or the Jupiter. That means if you're trying to move right now, it's difficult to find the right place, that you have to be very mindful to do it. It's not going to just drop into your lap. It may mean that some repairs are needed, but you may have to just put those off for now. Or, like maybe you ask a family member to help you fix it and it gets worse. That sort of thing can happen. So the energy isn't quite in alignment. So I see happy things happening in the house, but it's hard to move things forward. Now, when we talk about your career, you do have some good energy. You're doing a sextile between Jupiter and Neptune, and this does indicate that when you take an action, you'll get some positive results. That means if you are applying for new jobs, you can get the interview. You may even get the employment contract during this period. It means that you can negotiate for things that you want, ask your boss for better projects, maybe change teams if you want. It all is predicated on you taking some action, because with a sextile, nothing happens unless you do something. Otherwise, all the positive energy is just lost. So it's very important to take action. And so when you have your list of goals, just run down that list and see what you can take action on this month. Now, when it comes to your money, of course, we already mentioned that Mars in Aries is in your 2nd house, and this means you can do quite a lot of spending. But it also is really good for making money because it takes direct action towards making money. So when it comes to the spending, make sure that what you're spending on is in line with your goals. Like this can be the person who says, okay, I want to start a YouTube channel. And so they buy all of the equipment, but maybe they're not taking the action to actually sit down and do the videos. And so it's very important that you focus on what it is you're trying to achieve with the purchases. Now, it also, because Mars in Aries moves so fast, that sometimes what happens is that you spend money without thinking. So really, if you're going to be spending money, make sure it's something like, if it's a tangible object, that it's something you can return, but also watch out for the impulse spending. Mars is going to be going through your 2nd house for the rest of the year, and it's super beneficial for making money. But as I said, it can cause you to spend a lot of money. Now, when we look at your passive income sources or money from a business, you have a really good aspect of Mars sextile Venus, and that does mean that you have opportunities to make more money than usual. That is when you focus on it, when you take focused action, because it's a sextile, you don't get the good energy unless you take the action. But when you do, you can get good results. So I would expect that this month you will accumulate more through your passive income sources or your royalty royalties or your affiliate marketing or through your business income than usual. Your money coming from these sources is centered in the 4th house, so there may be some money coming either because you're working at home or through real estate or home things. So if you're in real estate, this is a really good aspect. You could have a really good month. When it comes to your money derived from career, it is ruled by the Saturn in that house, and it does say that while you are making money and that part's good, you're not necessarily enjoying the process very much, that you're feeling like you're really working hard for your money. And so this is where I would suggest to you to look at how you can streamline or make your whole system more efficient, because when we look at the relationship you have with your 6th house, you are doing the opposition. So it is possible that you could learn to delegate or automate or eliminate some sort of task that you're not liking what you're doing. When it comes to your ability to accumulate money through money derived from career, we're looking at the relationship between Saturn and Mars, and there isn't one. And so this does mean that it's going to be more difficult to accumulate money. So it means you're making about what you make on average. You're not really, I mean, if any more comes in, it just goes immediately out. So that ability to accumulate isn't there. That energy is going to line up, and you are going to have better aspects pretty soon. But right now, you can expect to make what you usually make. When it comes to your windfalls, you have a really strong house where there's so much desire to do things that are going to bring you the big win. And that's the Mercury, Sun, Moon there. So you might be starting a business. You may be planting some seeds out there with influencers or people you're meeting. You know, one connection can change your life. And so that's the energy that you're doing. However, it doesn't seem to be giving you the payoff just yet, because we're looking at the relationship between the Moon and Mars, and we don't have one. This energy will line up sometime in the future, but right now it's more like planting the seeds. The forest will grow later. So go ahead and make the connections or start the business. Just expect that the actual payout is coming at a later date. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Stay tuned. There is some footage of LaRue that I'm sure that you'll want to see.